I just missed yesterday. I guess he was going out the front of something like that.
Good afternoon, everybody. In the name of Jesus Christ, I'd like to welcome you to the Basilica of St. Mary of the Angels. My name is Jenny Kane. I'm the historian / archivist here, and we're just so thrilled that so many of you could come and join us today. And on this special occasion where we are celebrating our listing, this building's listing on the National Register of Historic Places. And we're going to memorialize that today as our national landmark recognition with a permanent plaque, which we will unveil shortly. So Father David Torville will lead us in the opening prayer. Father David is not only pastor here, he's also rector of the Basilica. He's also pastor of St. John the Evangelist Church here in Olean and St. Bonaventure Church in Allegheny.
Thank you, Jennifer. Almighty and eternal God, we gather today with hearts full of gratitude to dedicate the sacred Basilica of St. Mary of the Angels as a national historic landmark. We thank you for the vision of Father Rango, Amo Yorick, the architect, the laborers of the building, the parishioners who sacrificed from their modest means to fund the building of the church, and the faith of the generations of parishioners who have prayed within these walls. May this landmark stand as a beacon of peace, beauty, and spiritual sanctuary for all people. May our Blessed Mother embrace it and keep it safe under her mantle of motherly love. And may the angels watch over it and protect it as holy ground for generations to come. and may it always remind us of our shared history and your enduring grace. Amen.
So we honor today, first of all, the people who made this building possible, and we're going to start with the laity, the congregation that was here in 1915, who put up the money to build this spectacular building. We are having a tour afterwards, so you'll be able to see the inside and learn more about it if you'd like to stay for that. Now, that congregation was predominantly Irish at the time, and about 10% German as well. And their sacrifices are memorialized in our vestibule, actually. Every single name is there in alphabetical order, chiseled in marble in our vestibule. So that was quite an honor for them, and we invite you to take a look at their names afterwards. Now, a descendant of one of these ancestors is with us today, Buzz Wenke, and his family was literally here at that time, and their name is in that vestibule. He is holding the portrait today of Father Edward Rangel, whom we honor today also for overseeing the construction of this building. He got Stokes and Sons from Ellicottville to build this. And he also found a brilliant architect in Ohio. This church was designed by Emil Ulrich, and you can see the photo of him that we had colorized, thanks to AI. He is inspecting, this is in 1913, he is inspecting the construction of the building. And as I said, Father Rangel discovered him in Ohio. Finally, we honor the man who blessed and opened this magnificent church in September of 1915, and that was the Venerable Nelson Baker. Yes, Father Baker. He then later commissioned Emil Ulrich to design Our Lady of Victory National Shrine and Basilica in Lackawanna. You may be very familiar with that place. Well, that's not going to come around and look so beautiful if Father Baker first wasn't here and to have met Emil Ulrich. Now, Marion Boyce is over here, and she is holding a portrait of Father Baker. Marion led the Basilica's application committee overseeing the entire National Register of Historic Places project for all the way to its completion. Yay, Marion! She worked closely with Dan Bogues from the state's Historic Preservation Program. He's an analyst for New York State for this in Albany. And we are indebted to Dan for his extraordinary help with our application. So Dan, if you're watching this, thank you very much. You have our heartfelt appreciation. We are pleased that today that so many local dignitaries are joining us today. Your presence means a lot to us. Christine Perczewski, Director of Events and Operations for the Greater Olean Area Chamber of Commerce, is here. And we have Steve Teachman. Steve, where are you? Oh, come forward, please. He's the president of the Olean Historical Society. And I understand you got an award today, too, at the 250. You can read about that in the paper. Your presence here underscores our mutual commitment to preserving our shared history in Olean. And we'd like to gift you with this, our book, our history book. If you'll come up and receive this. This is the 3rd edition, so it's corrected. Okay, thank you. Great, thank you. Stephen Oldenburg is here representing the Knights of Columbus, Council 338. Thank you, in the red jacket. Thank you, Stephen, for coming. The Knights have been operating since 1898 here in Olean, and Stephen is a past Grand Knight and has held regional positions as well. So thank you and the other Knights who are here joining us today for this occasion. We have Father Chuck Van Heusen, pastor of St. Joseph's Maronite Church, over to my left. Thank you. This right here on this spot with the previous church that was here and this new one. This is where they had their worship site for these, what they called the Syrian colony. They came here in the late 1800s. They held their divine liturgy here until they built their own church, St. Joseph's, in 1917. And we thank them for their donation back in 1913 to help build this building. They are memorialized as well in our foyer. So thank you for being here. That's special. The Catholic community in Olean has been worshiping on this lot, this piece of real estate, since 1852. And then in 1855, the Franciscan friars arrived from Rome to minister to the Catholics here in this region. It wasn't just to set up the university. It was to also, the deal was, they had to minister to the different Catholic mission territories in 3 counties. They are the ones that got the original wood church built on this site. They named it, the first president of St. Bonaventure named the church St. Mary of the Angels. They relinquished their care of this mission church in 1876, so 150 years ago, we joined the Diocese of Buffalo. And they sent their first pastor at that time. Now, representing the Franciscan community today, we have Sister Melissa Scholl, and she says she's here just representing them. She's no longer the associate minister, but that's okay. We're glad to have you with us, and thank you, the sisters, for praying and sacrificing for us, for the education you provided, and for all the good example of living gospel life that the Franciscan sisters have brought to our community over the years. And we have Father John O'Connor, who is the guardian of the friary at St. Bonaventure University. And Father, people don't realize how much we are indebted to the Franciscan friars for their help here, because you've had our back since 1855, right here on this lot, so with the various needs that we've had. So thank you, and the friars. Representing the Diocese of Buffalo for Bishop Michael Fisher today is Father Dennis Mancuso. He is Vicar Forain of our region, and he also represents St. Mary's Byzantine Church here in town, as he ministers to that congregation as well. Thank you for coming, Father, and give the bishop our regards, please. Thank you. Now, the actual listing on the National Register of Historic Places is titled Basilica of St. Mary of the Angels Complex. It's not just this building. They like to have other buildings join in on this that are associated with the main building, that the buildings that the congregation built and paid for. That would include, so it's going to, this is actually 4 buildings in the complex. So it's going to include the school next door and the convent just past that. Those are built in the 1920s. It also includes the house across the street that used to be the rectory. That's from 1880, built by Father Hamill. It's now a private residence, and it's owned by Sonia McCall and her husband Martin. And Sonia also happens to be our city council person for Ward 4 for us here. So I'm sure Sonia has a few words to say to us today. And congratulations to you.
First, let me say I thought Jennifer was just being kind, inviting me, and then I saw my name on here. So my remarks will be mostly just about what it's been like for us. You know, we have lived in our house since 1997, and I want to thank you for offering and inviting us to participate in this momentous and wonderful occasion. You know, we have got to see weddings and funerals and food out here and snacks and more festivals than I can count. And so we have had a great relationship. My children, when we would come back from Virginia mostly, once they saw the steeples, they would be like, we're home, right? I always said that when I saw Father Greg come out and I was early in the morning going to work, I knew it was a little bit day, right? So we have really fond memories of everything that has come across and all of our friends that come here. Most people know my husband better than me because he's always mowing the lawn. And so usually when I say somebody, they'll say, oh, yes, we know your husband. I say, was he mowing the lawn? And they're like, yes. And to Marion Boyce, who I've known since 1999, actually when she moved here, I hired her, and actually her piano is in the old rectory. So she was incredibly diligent. When I say incredibly diligent, I mean calling me and leaving messages and saying, we need this or that. And so I have to say that she did her work in spite of me with those things. And so I appreciate all the work that went into that. And to Father David, now I get to see when he walks across, I'm like, you know what? It's all good, right? So I appreciate being invited, being offered to speak, and really this community has been wonderful for since the day we moved into across the street. So I thank you, and with that,
Next we have our New York State Assemblyman from the 148th District, Joe Simpolinski. I think you were married here, weren't you?
Yeah. You stole half my speech. No, thank you so much. I was so honored when Father David and Jenny reached out and asked me to be here. This is a very special place. I'm a cradle Catholic. My wife is a convert to Catholicism, and she was baptized and became a Catholic right here in St. Mary of the Angels. And as Jenny alluded to, I was married at St. Mary of the Angels 9 years ago last month. And if you know my wife and you realize I convinced her to spend all of her life with me here, I can say St. Mary of the Angels is definitely a place where miracles happen. So my wife really is an angel, and I am so happy that our married life started right here at St. Mary of the Angels. And this is really, it's a wonderful center of the Catholic community in Olean and in the southern tier. It's a place now that it's a basilica where people come from in pilgrimage from all over the place, and I encourage everybody to take the tour if you've not been inside, because truly it's a breathtaking house of worship. I want to welcome Father David back because prior to being elected official, I did work at the local Catholic school and got to work with Father David during his first tour of duty here as originally as a parochial vicar, now as pastor of the Basilica. So welcome back, Father David. So again, as your state assemblyman and as a Catholic, I am so proud of this particular church. I'm so proud of the community that has supported this particular church to have such a magnificent center of the community that everybody can be proud of regardless of your religious background. It's just a wonderful thing. So I do have, on behalf of the State Assembly, a citation to present to the Basilica Complex on this wonderful occasion. So I'll present that to Father David. And thank you very much.
And now we have our New York State Senator from the 57th District, George Borrello.
What a beautiful day this is to do this, and such an amazing accomplishment here to be on the Registry of Historic Places for the entire United States. Last year, this church was added to the New York State Registry as well, so thank you for all the hard work, all the folks that worked hard to make sure that this happened, and you know, that is a significant accomplishment, it truly is. I also want to pause and you know, re-emphasize what was said earlier. This beautiful place was built by immigrants who came here with very little, but they came together as a community. They pooled their resources. I'm sure they volunteered their time, as so many skilled craftsmen do, to build a beautiful facility like this, and it stands here today, you know, since 1915 as a symbol to how a community can come together. You don't need the wealthiest people. You don't need anything but people willing to sacrifice a little bit of their time, their blood, sweat, and tears, and create this beautiful place that has endured for generation after generation here and will continue to endure after many generations. So with that, I will also present my proclamation from the New York State Senate and to the Basilica of St. Mary of the Angels. And we have another one for you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. God bless you all, and thank you.
Next, we have our U.S. Congressman representing our district, the 23rd District of New York, Congressman Nick Langworthy.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to join you for this very special day in celebration of this breathtaking cathedral. I'm very pleased to join you in this achievement and all the hard work that went into it. The Basilica of St. Mary's of the Angels is one of the great treasures of this community, and today's unveiling of the National Historic Places Plaque gives us an opportunity to recognize the history and the craftsmanship of the people that made this happen. The history of this basilica is really the story of Olean. Beginning in 1913, generations of first and second generation immigrants, many of them with very modest means, coming together to build something they believe would serve generations after them. And here it stands all these years later. They invested in their community and in a vision that extended far beyond their own lifetimes. And look what they built. I mean, the breathtaking stained glass here rivals anything you'd see in the great cathedrals of Europe, right here in Olean. The 45-foot vaulted ceilings, the 33 Munich-style windows, the incredible craftsmanship and artistry that went into every part of this building. And it took a century to complete. The decoration of the interior, that kind of commitment tells you something about the people of this community that built this place and the people who have cared for it and treasured it ever since. They were building for a legacy, for Olean, and that's what makes this designation so special. The National Register recognition acknowledges the Basilica and, as many have said, the surrounding complex for its architectural, historical, and cultural significance. But for the people of Olean, this place has always meant more than its architecture. The Catholic community has been part of this location since 1852. The parish has been part of the diocese since 1876. Generations of families have worshiped here, celebrated those important life milestones here, mourned the loss of their loved ones, and found comfort in the community within these loving walls. And today this basilica has an international significance as well. In 2017, Pope Francis designated St. Mary of the Angels as a minor basilica, making it a place of pilgrimage for people from all over the world to attend. And that is something that the entire southern tier should be incredibly proud of. I want to thank and recognize everyone who worked so hard to make this designation possible. Marion Boyce, Jennifer Kane, Daniel Boggs, and everyone who contributed to this application and preservation of this remarkable complex. Historic preservation, it takes vision, patience, and willingness to do the work necessary to make sure future generations can experience what previous generations have accomplished and built. And today, we are all the beneficiaries of that work, and now the responsibility is our own. And we have to make sure that this incredible piece of Olean's history is here for the next generation and the generations after that. Faith, perseverance, and the generosity of people who believed in their community was worth investing in. That is the legacy here, and it is now symbolized in the plaque that you'll unveil soon. Congratulations to everyone involved into this wonderful parish, and thank you for inviting me to be a part of this ceremony today. God bless you all. And I also have a congressional proclamation to add to your pile as well.
This basilica has had a contentious relationship with the mayor of Olean since before we built this building. It was Mayor Pete. I forgot his last name. Anyway, with the building. You're going to wonder why this street doesn't line up First Street, because we moved the church over to the we had to move the old church over there. That used to be Daughterwick's brewery. We moved the church over there so we could continue worshiping, but the mayor wanted the street put in anyway, and but we've had it's been fun, and it's I wanted to save the mayor of Olean for last, because this building doesn't happen without city help. And when they were trying to get things, positioned and whatever, and getting their permits or whatever they needed at that time, in history, and the city is still is trying to pave. So it paved while we were building and everything. So, but we work real well with them, and we've always have worked real well with the city of Olean, and we're proud to be good. We try to be good neighbors here, and we're proud to be part of the town. So, so anyway, I'd like to invite Amy Sherburne up, Mayor of the City of Olean. We can't do it without that.
Well, it truly is an honor to be here today, not just as the mayor of the city of Olean, where this beautiful basilica is located, but because I'm also a generational member of St. Mary's. My husband and I were married here, our children were baptized here, our funerals were held here. This is quite the honor, and I know that my family is looking down on this day and are very proud of all the hard work that has gone into this to designate it. And so I have the honor of the proclamation honoring the Basilica of St. Mary of the Angels designation on the National Register of Historic Places. Whereas the Basilica of St. Mary of the Angels has stood as one of the city of Olean's most treasured landmarks for generations, serving as a place of worship, hope, compassion, and inspiration for countless individuals and families. And whereas its magnificent architecture, rich history, and enduring presence have made it not only a cornerstone of faith, but also one of the most recognizable and beloved landmarks in our community, welcoming parishioners, visitors, and travelers from across the region and beyond. And whereas the Basilica has long been a designation for those seeking spiritual guidance, quiet reflection, historical appreciation, and architectural beauty, enriching the cultural heritage and identity of the city of Olean, while serving as a source of pride for all who call this community home. And whereas the inclusion of the Basilica of St. Mary of the Angels on the National Register of Historic Places is a distinguished honor that recognizes its exceptional historical, architectural, and cultural significance, ensuring that its remarkable legacy will be preserved and celebrated for generations to come. Whereas this national recognition reflects the dedication, faith, and stewardship of clergy, parishioners, preservationists, and community members whose unwavering commitment has safeguarded this extraordinarily landmark throughout its history, and whereas the Basilica continues to stand as a symbol of resilience, unity, and hope, reminding us the importance of preserving our shared history while inspiring future generations to appreciate places that define the character and spirit of our city. Now, therefore, on this day of August 14th, 2026, I, Amy B. Sherburne, Mayor of the City of Olean, do hereby recognize and celebrate the listing of the Basilica of St. Mary of the Angels on the National Register of Historic Places. I extend my heartfelt congratulations to the parish, its leadership, parishioners, and all those whose dedication made this prestigious recognition possible. May this honor serve as a lasting reminder of the Basilica's profound impact on the spiritual, cultural, and historical fabric of our community as a beacon of faith, a destination for visitors, and an enduring symbol of Olean's heritage. The Basilica of St. Mary of the Angels will continue to inspire all who enter its doors and all who admire its timeless beauty. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And now Father David is going to share some words, and some of them will include some words from Monsignor Rangel himself. What did he have to say about this building? So, take it away.
Father Rangel had a vision for a new church building and what it would mean for the future. He told his congregation that the new St. Mary's would cost $100,000. It ended up costing $250,000. The first $50,000 came easily, but the rest was a long, difficult journey for his parishioners to provide, since they lived with very modest means. Since there was no outside money coming in, it was all up to them. He told the congregation they would have to build something glorious for God, for the entire community, and for generations of faithful to come. Father Rangel said that they would build something that would last centuries, and he had that capitalized, centuries. He said they would change the city skyline with twin steeples pointing to heaven. So on August 28, 1913, Father Rangel blessed the first white marble block laid on the southwest corner of the new church. And on November 2nd, 1913, the Feast of All Souls, the cornerstone was blessed, and the Olean Evening Times newspaper ran it on their front cover. On September 26, 1915, the new church was blessed and opened by Monsignor Nelson Baker, who was the general vicar of the diocese at the time. Monsignor Baker entitled his homily, "This is the house of God, the gate of heaven." In reference to this new church, Monsignor Baker said in his homily, "You must have been most generous in the accomplishment of this magnificent edifice, and you have reason to be proud of it. What an honor to have this magnificent temple dedicated to the Mother of God." 3 years later, on June 29, 1919, the Most Reverend William Turner, the 6th Bishop of Buffalo, arrived in Olean to consecrate the church as St. Mary of the Angels, 1 full day after the peace treaty was signed in Versailles, ending the Great War. How providential this was, since Our Lady told the 3 Fatima children in 1917 that the war would end soon and there would be peace. She requested the people to pray the rosary every day, and she kept her promise. The war ended and peace ensued. The consecration of this beautiful church dedicated to Our Lady waited until we had a standing bishop. Why? Because Mary is the Queen of Peace. It all began with the friars and their Franciscan charism going back to St. Francis, the humble man of peace. Our Lady chose the friars to begin an edifice in Olean dedicated to her work of peace back in the 1850s. It continued with Father Hamill, the first resident diocesan pastor of St. Mary of the Angels, and continued with Monsignor Rangel and his vision for Olean and building a beautiful temple for the glory of God. And I believe it is Our Lady herself who is directing A Place Set Apart. That's the title of Jennifer's book. A Place Set Apart, as titled by Jennifer. It is with a mother's heart that Mary invites all of God's children to come and find rest and peace in a place set apart, where God's presence can nourish the spirit and enliven the soul. Monsignor Rangel, as well as Father Hamill, are interred in the crypt here in the church, in the West Tower, directly below the plaque that we will unveil. So may they continue to pray for us and watch over us, and especially this priest who's now their descendant and directing everybody. Amen. Amen.
We thought it was fitting for Marion to be part of the unveiling today. Long distance, she said. Father will do it personally. Yes, go ahead. Once again, thank you all for coming. It's such a blessing to have you here, one and all, on this beautiful, beautiful day. Now we will have a little bit of time for questions, if anybody has any questions at this time. And then we're going to immediately go into the Basilica, and we will start our tour. Shouldn't take too long. For those who are able to stay for the tour, we'll be here for that. So thank you again for joining us today, and God bless you. Spread the word. Come and see this new national landmark.
Thank you very much.
And then some. Yes. Oh, yeah. Hey, you never know.